listeners know who you are. For those that don't know who are you?
So my name is Felicity, a pal.
Your voice is so sweet.
Oh no, listen. don't let the voice deceive you.
Oh my gosh.
No, Felicity, a pal.
What do you do?
So I'm a sickle cell. I'm an activist for sickle cell and chronic pain. And really just getting people to know about the disease and, trying to raise as much awareness as possible.
I can tell you, Frosh, would you like a beverage? Yeah?
No, I'm okay.
Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Okay. So basically, when I saw your page and the things that you do, I was really, really inspired because I was just like, wow, this girl is not only going through sickle cell and all the things that come with it, but she's also a mother, and being a mother in itself, I've got 2 children, so I know being a mother in itself.
Listen,
I was like, you're Superwoman, because how do you now have the
balance?
Yeah,
the
so
balance.
I know a little bit about that. Like, how do you kind of deal with both?
So I didn't just get here. I mean, when I first had my son, my very first born, it was a struggle. It was getting to finding that help. Because for me, I know for some people, you have a mom and family, but I didn't really have that.
Oh.
So this is a 21-year-old girl who has a baby and has this disease that, gets you in hospital at least once a month.
Yeah.
So it was finding that balance, because what I would do was I would sneak my little boy in hospital, and I had to do that for like a year.
Wow.
And then he got to a year and they were like, you can't keep sneaking him in hospital, like it's not safe for him. It's not fair on you, so you have to figure something out. And so that's when I started to find like nannies, and the going and coming, it was just different nannies. So it was really just finding the balance of trying to be, that mom and still making sure that my kids were good, and finding help. I think that was the struggle, was finding the help and the right help.
Yeah.
Because
even I know about hospitals because not as much as you, obviously, but when I had my first daughter, she got into some white spirit.
Right. Okay.
And she drank it thinking it was water. She went into hospital, and we found out everything was okay in the end, but because she had to be admitted, I had my son as well, and he was relatively newborn, but they don't allow young to stay. So I'm just thankful that I had someone to stay in the hospital with her, because she would have been alone.
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm saying?
I think that's this. I think most people don't realize that when you do have a child. I think for me, I can also say this, that when I first had my son, it was really me trying to do it alone. Like, I didn't want help. I really didn't want people, because there's something about being a mom that makes you feel like you can do it alone. And you want to do it.
People to tell you what to do,
right?
How to do it.
And I didn't want to feel like I was less than, like I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do for my child.
Especially because you're young, so people think, you don't know anything.
You don't know anything, and you've gone and had this disease. And the thing is, having sickle cell already comes with judgment, and so people are already thinking you have this disease that you're going to die, and you're going to brought this child.
Like, there's so many people biting against you that you can't do it,
you
that
can't,
you just
right.
have to succeed.
Honestly, I think when my son got to 2, the doctors looked at me and said, we really didn't think you could do it.
Wow.
We didn't think you could do it. And so for me, it's like, now it's just letting people know that it's okay to ask for help. Like, it's okay to have that help. And because I got to that point where my son was okay, he was very happy, and I was in hospital probably every month. I was in there for probably 3 weeks out of the month, and then it was just a rotation of things.
Wow.
So I was crumbling. I'm like,
gosh.
the doctors were like, if you want to die and leave your child motherless, you can't choose. It's your choice. Yeah. So I had to get to a point where it's like, okay, what are you doing with yourself now? Like, you've got do something different.
So, and how did you find the balance? Because I know that it is a very hard to do.
I'm not gonna lie, my son is 7.
Wow.
And
you've done well. 7 years old.
7.
You've done well.
It's not easy. Every now and then I'm just like, why am I here? Like, why?
Oh
But I don't still think that I've found the balance. But one thing that has worked to me was having a live-in nanny.
Yes.
I found somebody that lived with us. So
Okay.
she lives in the third room and helps. And I think having one person is almost like having a mom.
Yeah.
Because people find that weird. They're like, I don't quite know if I want somebody in my house. Kind of thing. And it's like, well, you have to choose between the two. So you can either have someone in your house that's going to be constantly there 24/7, or you can have somebody that comes in every day, and that's more expensive.
Yes.
That's more, like, people don't want to be honest about that. That's expensive.
Childcare is expensive in general.
Listen, I remember when I first started and I was paying £8 to £10 an hour. So imagine I'm in hospital like for a whole day. They're charging hourly. That's about 100, even 12 hours, it's about 120 a day.
Wow.
So within a week, it's like $1,000.
Yeah.
I said,
Do you kind of like get help with that, or is it just?
So at first I didn't.
Okay.
At first I didn't. At first it was just really it coming out of the benefits, the things that I was getting to deal and I was getting.
So it'll come out of what your livelihood basically.
Basically. So it was choosing in between. I remember when the other girls that didn't have kids then, they used to go like, we get enough money for you to buy things for yourself, but I never see you buy anything. And I'm like,
you don't know.
Stop disturbing me.
Wow.
Like when you get there and now they have kids, I'm like,
now
you understand?
Now you
because
know.
I really had to choose. But I think as time went on, I was like, no, this can't be right. Because I'm genuinely not well and I need help. And if I had cancer or if I had, something like cancer, they would help me pay for childcare. So how come they don't help when it's sickle cell? Because I think people look at sickle cell and they think, oh, you're only sick sometimes. And it's like, no. I'm not only, like, I'll be honest with you. This week, like I said I was gonna come to this meeting and they killed me on that. I'm like, I'm coming. And I had an eye bleed, so I couldn't see at all with my right eye.
Oh wow.
Right, so those are things that happen. Like, it's real.
Wow.
It's like within a week, you might not be in hospital, but I'm in pain pretty much almost every day.
Oh my gosh.
And it's a struggle. So I got to a point where I had to speak to them and I said, hey, like, what's the help? What can you help with? And then they talked about social services, coming in there. And people hear social services
It's
and
scary.
they think,
they're gonna take my child.
oh, they're gonna come take my child, come and tell me what to do. And they did. I had a first white lady that came and was like, well, when you calculate your money, you can't afford that. I said,
wow.
And you are here because like,
by force.
what is your purpose here? And then they were here telling me, oh, well, you can. What they first offered was them giving their child to a live-in nanny.
Okay.
So not a live-in nanny, it would be a care
home,
like a care home.
Okay.
Basically, so they would take when you're sick. You call them, they will come and take your child to a care person, whoever's available, and your child goes there till you're well. And then when you come home, they bring your child back.
Okay.
So I said, is this one person? Because if it's one person and I can build a relationship with them, at least I know where my child's going. They're like, well, we can't really tell you it's one person. It's just depending on who's available. I said,
I'm sorry about that,
you
but
think I suffered? Just let me stop making noise. Like, I'm gonna, if whatever it takes, if it's newspapers, if it's speaking to the mayor, because it's not fair. Because I realized how much other parents were going through the same things, and they would message you and I'm like, how are you doing, how are you coping? And like, people would tell me like, I can't get a break until I come hospital, like, because their family or their parents don't think they're sick enough and they can cope until they come hospital.
Oh my gosh. Sorry to cut you, but when you said, oh, their family don't think they're sick enough, it just reminded me of something. My sister is not nowhere remotely as severe as this, but my sister was sick, so she couldn't go into work, and then they sent her home she's got a corporate job, they sent her home, and then my mum was just like to her, oh, you're singing, so you're not sick, you can go back to work.
Can you imagine?
So it's like
but no, that's real.
Yeah.
Especially with so, because for me, even till now, like there's sometimes where like having a living nanny has helped me so much, because it got me from that point of resenting my mom. I got to a point where I couldn't stand my mom. Like nothing would make me want to talk to my mom, because I felt like, first of all, I have this disease because of you. You and my dad are irresponsible.
Oh, wow. Oh, so do they both have it? Or?
Yeah, so they were both carriers. And obviously, at that time, they didn't have much knowledge.
They didn't know.
I mean, I remember when they tested me for sickle, so my mom said, no, you got it wrong. Like, I'm not sick. Her dad's not sick. She can't
so
be
they
sick.
didn't really have information.
Right, and I remember even the idea of me first having my son was based on, I remember it was just so young and dumb, but my mom was saying, just in case you die, at least you have a child.
Hey.
So, like, no, seriously, that's the ignorance that it comes with, because people think sickle cell and they think you're going to die. At some point, you're just going to die. So her thing was, at least if you have a child, you're leaving something behind, and it's real. So there's so much ignorance, like, around that. I know one of my friends that calls me because she's like, my mother again. I said,
wow.
Please find a nanny, because this one's too much. Like, she's not gonna change. She doesn't.
Yeah, they have their opinions, to be honest.
And for her, it's like you are making yourself so sick because you believe in the disease. It's like, what do you want me to do? Well, the pain meds is too much. It's like,
that's
what
I
do you
used
want
to
from?
cope. Like,
right. So it's. I think it takes time to get them to a point where it's like, okay, my child's actually sick. And I think for my mom, the first shock was when I had to actually get a social worker, my doctor, to sit down with her and say, listen, your child doesn't have a headache, and if you want her to live, you need to start supporting her, or your grandchild's going to be motherless. And I think that was the point. I was like, hey,
you're like, this is actually real.
Like, this is real. Like, your child is sick. But I think for her, I think this is something a lot of Africans do. Denial is their first. It's like, Mom, I have a child, but she will pretend I'm a virgin until she dies. Like, it's like they want to pretend. That's what she was doing. And I know there's a lot of parents that do this. Like, nah, my child. And I met one Nigerian lady, and she was like, oh, I didn't claim any benefits for my child because I didn't want him to, think he was sick. It's like, he is sick. He's in hospital every month. Like, I don't know what to tell you, but your child is sick. And you need to do something about it. Because if you probably were doing something, he wouldn't be as sick as he is.
Wow.
So, yeah.
My goodness. It just sounds like a roller coaster.
It is. Emotionally, it's exhausting. And I know that for me, like, I would go a whole month. I take like a week out of the whole month to just cope. So if you look at my Instagram, there's usually a week where I'm missing, and I'm like, hey guys, I'm back. And people are like, where'd you? And then I would get messages, and they're like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine, but I need to shut.
I need some me time.
Right. I need to shut out, because it's a lot, and sometimes I think even me myself, sometimes I'm in denial, because when I am well, I want to do everything. Like, I want to make sure everything's done and the kids are okay, and I want to make sure everything's done, and then you overdo it.
Yeah, and it takes a lot out of you, and then you have to start again. All of it.
Right. And the truth is, having sickle cell is like starting your life again every time, because I would have, like, let's say 2 weeks where I do these interviews and I vlog and I do these things, and then I'm back in hospital. And then you go hospital for like a week, drained, exhausted, and you come home, you have to get off the medication. So that's like a 2 weeks out, and you feel like you're always to start, and that's exhausting. But I think I've gotten used to it. I've gotten used to it just being
just the cycle.
Right. It's just the cycle. It is, but I've gotten used to it, and I think even to this day, like, people that have grown up with me still struggle with that. Like, I would have my mom calling, it's like, yeah, I haven't seen the kids, and it's like, if you want to see them, come and collect them.
That's the
but
thing.
I'm not coming. Like, I'm just not. And for her, it was like, but you're not in hospital, so you're okay to come. And say, no, I'm not in hospital, but physically I am exhausted and I'm in pain. I'm not coming. And friends find that, like, so I don't have much friends because I don't want to constantly explain myself. I'm not coming to your birthday, because honestly, the result of coming to your birthday, me ending up in hospital, is not worth it. Like, it's not.
Sorry, babe.
Like, honestly, because I know, like, literally, my kid's dad, his cousin's got sickle cell, and what she's like, probably the most normal person you've ever seen. She would go clubbing, and then she would call me at 2 a.m. like, Felicity, can you meet me at hospital? I said, why?
You know what you was getting yourself into.
I'm in Britain. I said, okay, I'll see you in the morning. Because I'm sorry.
No one sent you.
Like, we had this conversation.
Yeah.
You left hospital. You know you're not well enough to go and do clubbing with your friends just to keep up. And now you're going back while everybody's going home to snow. Like, why? Like, it's
the sickle cell disease. Is there like different like levels or?
See, the thing is, it does affect people in different ways. Like, you get some people that are like, I'm not really sick. Like, I'm sick maybe once in a while and it's bad, but I'm okay. And then you have people like me that are in hospital every month. Wow. Like, it's especially if you go to like home in hospital and things like that. Like, it's like a roller coaster of people. You get used to people's faces and you get used to people being there because
like they become your friends. Like,
you see each other every month. It's like every 3 weeks, 4 weeks, it's coming.
Wow.
And the scary part is it doesn't leave. Like, with me, having sickle cell comes with chronic pain. So what people don't know is obviously every time you get into a crisis, it sort of damages a part of where you're getting the crisis because the blood stops flowing there.
Okay.
So people don't know that. So for me, I always ended up getting crisis in my hips, and so I had to get my hip replaced.
Oh, wow.
Right, because the blood stopped flowing.
Oh my God.
And so it gets painful, and now every day you're in pain. Like, it's an everyday
thing.
thing.
When they have replaced your hips now, what do they replace it with? Is it like a titanium? Or?
Yeah, so like a meant to replace, because your bones eventually. So you get some people that have their arm replaced and things like. So it's just really where it affects you. You have to get it replaced, and people don't know that you have to take care of yourself, because if you don't, eventually the more crisis you get, the more you end up with a hip replacement and your eyes and things. Like, I never knew it could affect my eyes. That's one thing nobody said to me. Never knew. Woke up one day, was in a crisis. I said, I'm not going to hospital. It's a lie. I'll just take the medicines at home. I will cope, whether I like it or not. So 2 days later, I woke up, can't see. I'm like, maybe it's the morphine, because we take quite high medication. So morphine is 10 milligrams subcut every hour.
Jesus.
Yeah, if you're in Homerton, like a place in Homerton Hospital, they do it 5 milligrams every 20 minutes. So imagine getting medication every 20 minutes. It's a lot. Okay,
not to like.
No. Go on.
Do you like feel like high, like when they put the medication on?
Oh, see, that's the problem. Is the highness, it comes because after a while of taking 10 milligrams is a lot. That's a lethal. If I give you 10 milligrams, you probably won't wake up. That's a lot. That I remember when my aunt used to say, that's the dose we give to the old people that we're trying to help die. So you should be careful. I said, that's really encouraging to know that this is what you give to people to die. Thank you. But that it does make you very high. So now the problem is coming off of the highness. It's like, imagine you being in hospital for 2 weeks, getting 10 milligrams of morphine every single hour. 2 weeks, your body is now used to it. So coming off of it and withdrawing off of it, that's the problem.
Wow. And then you come home off the high to deal with children.
Real life. I get him. So now you're shaking. So you get the withdrawal symptoms like somebody on heroin. Because morphine is medical heroin.
So I've even heard of, like, recently in the news they've been saying that there's like an epidemic of people that are addicted to opioids.
Oh, you will be addicted. The addiction is there, but I think the problem, and I went to the Sickle Cell Center just this Monday, and I was speaking to the nurses about things that we need to change and how to move on. And I think that's one thing that they don't deal with, is that a lot of the sickle patients get addicted. Because when you're taking that medication every day, you will get addicted. It's like when I said to you, I take a week off, and people usually are like, are you okay? It's usually when I'm coming off the medication. So that week,
you need it.
I can't, if I don't come off the medication, my body will continue to get used to it. And when I'm coming off of it, I'm shaking, I'm irritated. If you cough near me, I'm like, you're breathing too much.
Oh my God.
Like, no, it's real.
Yeah,
you're shaking, everybody's hot, I'm cold, everybody's cold, I'm hot.
No.
So it's real, but there's not support there. So a lot of the sickle patients are scared to say, I'm addicted. So can you help me? Can you help me wean off? Can you help me come off? Because they think the doctors are gonna write it. And the doctors do write it. They will write it in your note. So when you go hospital, the doctors are looking at you. The nurses are judging you, going, oh, look at another drug seeker. So they don't want to talk. And I think until they start having real conversations with these sickle patients and saying, hey, do you need help? Like, we can help you, we know. It's going to keep happening. Most of the patients are addicted and are not telling. I'll be honest with you. Like, I have some of my friends that go to so we have a sickle cell day unit, which you can go in. So you go in there at 9 and then you leave at 5, and they give you injections so you don't have to stay in hospital. Then you can go home. They would go in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday get admitted in hospital, stay for 2 weeks, and then go back to the day unit Monday, Tuesday. So they're always in hospital.
Wow.
It's life. Like,
wow.
And it's because they're addicted, but nobody wants to say, hey, how can we help? So you can't then blame them.
That is...
Because they offered these drugs. If you're going to offer them, help us come off the medication.
Yeah. But to be honest, them themselves, I'm not sure if they're dealing with sickle cell, but most of them, they haven't experienced it for themselves, so they don't really know.
Yeah. So that was a conversation I had with them on Monday, and the doctors were like, yeah, I had to comfort them a little bit because I've had enough of I feel like we, as doctors looking after sickle patients, this is what you signed up for. So at least do the best that you can. You can't give medication and then push people aside and not help them. And speak to them. And I said, listen, I understand that you went to school and learned this, but dealing with this is not the same. And I can tell you, as somebody that studied nursing, I went to the same school and the same class that you did. It's not the same. What they taught me in school isn't what real life is.
It's like driving in it, because they've got practical and then theory.
Right. And the actual real thing, it's definitely not the same. And this is what people don't realize, is that stress can cause a crisis. So a crisis, the pain that you get when you have sickle cell. So imagine you have kids. That's stressful enough. If you're the only one that's taking care of the kids, stress for you. Yeah. If you have to, double that.
Wow.
If you have a relationship, you now have to be that wife, that husband, that whatever.
Wow.
That's stressful. The balance is mad.
Wow.
Yeah. So real life stuff.
Well, even talking about relationships, how do you deal with... Are you in a relationship?
So I've been with a kid since I was 16. Thank God.
Wow.
Because listen,
Shout out to long-lasting relationships.
When I see these dating out here, I'm like, these men. But I won't lie to you and tell you, it's not been easy. We've had points where it was just like, okay, I'm done. Because even for him, he had to learn. Like, he had to learn what the disease does, like how it affects me, and there's sometimes where mentally I'm just exhausted, not because of anything that's happening, but because I'm physically like, oh, I've got this to do that I can't do it, and it makes you depressed. So it does. It really does make you depressed.
And they don't talk about that part.
It makes you depressed. Listen, I was at a point where I feel, why am I here? Like, what am I really adding to the world? Like, I can't work in a hospital because I'm always sick. I can't do the job that I really want. So what am I really, like, why am I here? And so being in a relationship, when you're in a relationship with that's hard. I mean, you can imagine, even when you're not sick, for a man to do just the things that happen in a relationship, and with 2 kids. And I know there were times where I would be sick and I'm like, he's not even here to help.
You start blaming.
Like, oh no, you do. Because let's say he would say, oh, I'll take a day off to help you look after the kids. But then the next day I'm still sick. So he ends up going to her and I'm like, he don't even care.
Yeah, he don't know
see
how
that I'm
it
in
is.
pain.
Yeah.
And he's left me with 2 kids. What am I supposed to do with
You
that?
become bitter and all these things.
Listen, I keep telling my friends that in relationships, I'm like, please find somebody to help you with the kids. If you don't want a nanny in your house, just find somebody to at least come and help you sometimes, because it would always be a fight. Because you look at, so what you would expect from a partner, you now want double of that because you're not well.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
they have to kind of be the partner and the carer. And
right.
the carer of the kids as well.
The kids as well.
Yeah.
So that can be a lot for some people. And I know that for me, like after it was just like, okay, I can't do it. I'm out. You can be out. Go to your mother's house. We're down. Like
all of us are out.
You're like, me, I'm finished. Like, what is this? Like, this is not it. This is not a relationship. Wow. Like at this point, I don't see a purpose. I'm doing everything when it comes to the kids anyway. Yeah. So why are you here? Like, you do get to that point, and it's hard. Because I know that a lot of the Sickle patients are either single when they are in a relationship. They get into somebody that's understanding enough. It's hard.
Patience. So well done to him.
Well done for later.
Because it mustn't be easy, because just even seeing someone that you love and you care about going through pain, it's not easy.
But the thing is, for me, I never saw it from that standpoint.
Okay.
Because for me, I felt like I'm the one that's going through pain. So why does he care? And I didn't see it, because from his standpoint, he was like, for me to watch you in pain and knowing that I can't do anything about it, that's hard. So, and to constantly, it's not something that it's like once in a while. It's like every month having to see that you're in pain and knowing that there's nothing I can do. Yeah. Like there's nothing, and then you getting frustrated and you getting depressed, and it's like having to try and pick you up, but nothing I say makes a difference, and that's the truth. Like it doesn't matter what he says. It's like, you're not helping me. Like you're just talking, and so
but he's trying.
That's the thing. Yeah. But when you're depressed and you're in that,
it's you're trying the corner basically.
Like it's hard to get out of it. It really is. Like so sometimes it's literally me just going, okay, what are you doing? Like the kids, because at this point the kids are now getting concerned that mommy's not okay. Because when they get home and I'm okay, they're usually playing around. Like even 2 days ago when with my aunt, they were just laying in bed with me the whole time, and I had to say to myself, these kids will not be laying here quiet. Like they cannot talk if I wasn't well. I'm the reason why they're laying down and being so good. So I had to like shake it off, and sometimes that's what it takes. But being in a relationship,
being in a relationship period is not easy.
It's not. That's the thing. Being in a relationship is not easy.
So
but when you add the sickness on top and the wanting, even when it comes to like the sexual part of things, it's like,
let's talk about sex, because obviously that's
Masa.
It's important.
Find somewhere.
It's an important part of the relationship.
Listen. Sometimes I'm just like I have to just, I'm getting to bed by force. Like I'm sleeping before you even finish because it's not happening. Like where are we going? Like what do you want from life? Just you have 2 kids, go to bed.
Oh, but he's a man,
right? And that's the thing.
Even women, we need it.
But the funny thing is, I think it's just me, because some sicklers say that when they're in a crisis, as long as they're on medication, they're good. Yeah. Like they say sex actually helps with your pain. Yeah. For me,
really?
You're making my pain worse. I'm sorry, what hip?
Oh yeah, it's true. Like, you wouldn't just make my hip somehow.
You're playing with me, because like for that 10 minutes now I'm going hospital. Like, and the shame of it, like you can't stay in hospital. So what do you think triggered the crisis?
Sex.
I'm now looking at the sky, thinking like, okay, well, we see where this is going.
It literally blew your back up.
Like it's for me, it's like, it's not worth it. It really is not. But I think I had to get to a point where it's like, okay, no, this is actually an important part of the relationship. Yeah. So you have to do it.
It's a compromise type of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But I am also happy in the fact that for compared to what men are, because I know that like my friends are like, oh, why not say every day? I said everywhere.
What?
You're a liar. God forbid. My hips are not for that.
Wow.
Yeah.
He must be understanding.
Right.
Also.
And so I think that's what it is. I think it's the understand. Like he won't even if you can see that like I'm in pain in my face. The way me I've even done my face, I'm just looking at the sky like, listen. It's bedtime for me. Peace out. It's not happening.
But he's done well then to be with you for.
I would say, see, this is the thing. I remember when we broke up, and then people were like, "Oh, Felicity can't date," and even now, like people are like, "Felicity, you've been with one man all your life. Like you haven't really enjoyed life. Else, like yeah." And for me, it's like that fear of if I go somewhere else. And then now they're saying every day, I'll just be like,
yeah, because they won't understand because they haven't been on the journey with you.
Right, and people see the 2 kids, and then I think for men they assume that you must be,
you love it,
and I'm like, first of all, those 2 kids, they all happened the very first day I left hospital. Like they were just So I don't really know what I'm doing, and this is what. So for me, dating is like forget it. I can't because people really think that I know what I'm doing. Like they really think like. I remember my friend called me. I was like, my girl ain't really getting to me like that. I think you need to speak to her. And I said, you're talking to the wrong person because if you ask David, he'll tell you. Don't really give it like names.
Wow.
So I'm sorry. Just talk to her and hope that she will at least give you maybe 2 times a week or once a week. He's like, once a week. I said, how many do you want?
Other things you can do. It's not only.
I don't want to do either of them.
You need to compromise.
Listen,
spice the relationship.
Let me be honest with you. You have to imagine that we're still on medication at home. So the morphine doesn't just leave in hospital. So when you come home, you're still on morphine. You're on 10 milligrams. You're on 20 milligrams of morphine at home. Half the time, you're too drowsy.
Oh, yes.
You're very
sleepy part.
You're loopy. You're drowsy. So, like, I could be talking to you now, and you'll come in the next minute. I'm gone.
You're gone, yeah.
I'm like, I'm tired. I'm so drowsy, and if I'm coming through withdrawal, forget it. So that week, don't even try me because
so he must know like your cycle, because obviously you know when I think girls have cycles when they're on their period.
Right. So I think that's pretty much it. It's like on your monthly, leave her alone. Yeah. That's kind of it. So I think he's kind of timed himself. He's like, oh, now I can. But before, I don't think he got it. So I'd be like, so annoying, please go home. like literally that's how I was like. I was just like, it's just too hard to keep a relationship. And so for me, I always wondered, I'm like, how are you guys keeping these men? Like even for my friends that are dating, I'm like,
what do they say though?
Like, but the thing is, some people genuinely love sex. I think you know what it is. I think because I didn't also get to experiment. So I think for me, I'm only just now loving sex, if that even makes sense. I'm only just now knowing like sex and knowing my body and things.
Apparently when women get older, that's when they're more like sexually fluid and stuff.
I can't even when I had my daughter even, and my daughter's gonna be 2, I didn't know anything about sex. It happened was like I left hospital and literally the day we had sex, this baby was here. Wow. So he was literally like, this child, I don't get anything. The one time I get something, you end up with belly. And that was literally it. So I'm like, people look at me and think that, oh, she must know what she's doing. I don't know. I'm only just like learning what sex is now. And I didn't really have experiment either because I didn't get to go out and try it with people. So I'm only just learning. But for my friends that have like dated and things like that, they're like, if the pain starts and I have sex, it actually makes it better. They said it suits them. So I'm hoping to get to that point, because this is not it.
Oh my gosh, I just thought of something in terms of like actually carrying your baby and everything, like with the symptoms like worse?
So I was in hospital for the last 4 months of both their pregnancies. I was in hospital and they had to come out early. So they came out 34 weeks and 35 weeks because I couldn't do the full term. My body. I remember with my daughter when I turned 25 weeks. I said, "Can you take her out?"
Wow.
And they were like, "Well, if we do, it's gonna be an incubator thing."
Yeah.
I said, "I'm dying here." I really, really thought I wasn't gonna get through it. I remember. If you see the video of me going to have my daughter, you think I went to go and bury somebody.
My gosh.
I was in tears. I really thought I'm gonna go and not come back. I was really not well.
Wow.
And so for me, it was like, so nothing will make me want to do it again.
Jesus. So this is it, like you're finished.
Me,